Did you have fun?
I did, yeah, yeah, good. All I have is a the sun, so I'm on it. So, yeah. Right, oh yeah, I'll be back next Tuesday. Maybe the whole season.
Hi.
I think we should have served wine or something. We get the cow here.
Have kids sing.
You know what it is, because there's too much going on right now.
Exactly, we do that. I mean, you schedule this meeting. We probably scheduled it today. Some. Yeah, I mean, it's a musical.
Sorry, I'm late. I said 6 to 7, I did it at 7, so.
Well, welcome everybody. Do I need the microphone or can you hear me? My name is Deborah Ladd. I'm the Vice Chair of the RSU 78 School Board, and I welcome you to tonight's budget hearing. Please stand for the pledge.
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the name of the state of Maine, you are hereby required to notify the voters of each of the municipalities within the regional school district, namely the town of Rangeley and Dallas Plantation, Rangeley Plantation, and Sandy River Plantation, that a regional school unit budget meeting will be held at Rangeley Lakes Regional School, 43 Magnolia Avenue, Rangeley, Maine, at 6 p.m. on June 7th, 2022, for the purpose of determining the budget meeting articles set forth below. May I have a motion from the board to elect a moderator?
Second.
And
I nominate Carl M. Casper to be the moderator for 7 minutes.
And may I have the votes, please? All in favor? Those opposed? You need to bring this, pass those slips down if you would, please. And then may I have Liz Sweeney do the oath for the moderator?
It's Evelyn.
Evelyn, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I, Carl M. Casper Jr., do swear that I will faithfully discharge, to the best of my abilities, the duties incumbent on me as an moderator of this meeting according to the Constitution and laws of the state, so help me God. I, Carl M. Casper Jr., do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, so long as I shall continue a citizen thereof, so help me God. Welcome to this meeting, our annual Wrestling with the Budget. Thank you for coming. Let's turn this over to Georgia Campbell. She's going to give us some words of wisdom here to get us going.
I'm gonna stand to get a little closer to the screen because I feel like I'm far away. Thank you
all for coming. I put together a little presentation that speaks to some real bullet points and impacts to the budget. Hopefully, this sort of gives you some vision as to how this budget was created, the forethought behind it, and the things that impact it. Go ahead, Sean. So the instructional areas that we focused on in this budget are career and educational development, English language arts, health and physical education, mathematics, world language, science and technology, social studies, and visual and performing arts. Our goals are to maintain excellence in programming for students, to maintain high-quality support services for students, to maintain some facilities, maintenance, and upgrades as needed, and align staffing needs with the needs of students to ensure safety and improvement and improve academic achievement, and to provide an environment conducive to learning. Some highlighted changes within the articles. In Article 1, under regular instruction, you'll notice that there are some salary and benefit increases, and this year we actually took our gifted and talented programming funds that are usually in our Title IV grant, and we actually put those in our local budget so that people could visibly see that we actually have a very solid gifted and talented program. Our teacher increases are at 3.72%, or about $102,139.83 over FY 21-22. And our support staff, the increase there was 5%, or $53,359.49. Article 2, special education instruction. This particular article fluctuates from year to year based on the needs of our students and what their individual education plan requirements are. And as you'll notice that it's down about $59,109.75 due to services being down and our support staff numbers being down as well, our ed techs. Article 4, other instruction. The increase there is $24,173.20, and this is due to repairs and maintenance using fees, athletic equipment, supplies, and uniforms. I'll speak a little bit more to that in a minute. I'll break it down a little bit more so you can have a better understanding of what that actually looks like. Article 6, system administration, an increase of $10,283.94. This is just to cover health benefits. In Article 7, an increase in the system administration of $5,191.50, salaries and benefits. That's what sort of did cause this increase as well. Article 8, transportation, is down $26,752.43. This is reflective of a decrease in positions. I'll speak to that a little bit more as well in just a moment. And Article 9, facilities and maintenance, there was an increase of $1,180.43. And this was for grounds fees and a decrease in positions, which I said I would talk a little bit. We cut some positions out of the budget just because we haven't been able to fill those. Budget continued. Okay, workers' compensation rates have increased this year. $13,200, $205.08, and this is based on overall usage and time. Restaffing positions that were partially funded with ESSER II care funds are now being locally funded. They are our pre-K to 8 guidance counselor / 6 through 8 interventionist, a full-time substitute teacher, and a high school ed tech 3. And our technology coordinator position is being changed to a Director of Technology and Communications with a $20,000 increase in the salary due to the added responsibilities and contracted days. Okay. Within the athletic department, the stipends for there have been stipends put in the budget for assistant varsity coaches added for soccer, baseball, softball at $500 each. This was added in to sort of create some consistency across the athletics department. In the past, we had assistant coaches for basketball, but now we'll have those for all of the varsity level sports. For the assistant athletic director, a $100 increase, and the athletic medical manager at $100, and the athletic director's position would be an increase of $250. We also added in a stipend for a recycling coordinator, so we have somebody in the building who recycles all of our paper, and breaks it down into cardboard and the different kinds of paper, and that's a big job in this building. She gets $750 for that. We also created a stipend for someone to keep up with the board out at the top of the road to keep the community updated on activities and things that are happening in the building. And we have hired an ESL coordinator for $1,000. By law, we have to have an ESL coordinator in the building. We need to have somebody who is certified to do that. Our summer and winter grounds contracts, there's an increase there of $24,500. We had one bid for and it was actually just for the winter piece. And so that was a little bit out of our hands. And the increase there was, like I said, $24,500. A bus driver position and a full-time bus driver custodian position were cut from the budget. We've advertised for a couple of years now for a bus driver custodian position, and we just haven't had anybody, no luck with that, with filling that. So, we decided that was just a place that we could make a cut. And as far as a bus driver position, right now we're currently able to do our runs with 3 buses currently, our Foster Tech, our in-town run, and our McGalloway run. And so the need for an additional bus driver is, in addition to what we currently need, is not needed. Okay. All right. You'll also notice that there was an adjustment made across cost centers in the administration lines. That was because I was actually put in as a pre-K to 8 principal. So there's no increase or decrease there. It's just that the cost centers now are reflective of what the administration is reflective of actually what it is. Our pre-K through 8 teachers are looking at creating a new reading curriculum. And so they have done a lot of research and they're doing a lot of work around this. Some additional funds have been put in the budget to cover the cost of this. These are estimated costs. We're not really sure exactly how much this curriculum will cost us. It could cost us much less than this, or it could be much more than this, but we tried to get in the ballpark. As I said, I was going to speak to the athletic increases. There are some repairs and maintenance that need to be done to our fields and our dugouts, so that $7,206.39 speaks to that. In athletics, supplies and uniforms, there's an increase of $5,202.98. And in co-curricular, which includes drama. There's a lot of dues and fees when we're doing plays and we're doing things like that. So the increases there are reflective of that at $3,685. So the next slide is just kind of a breakdown, a little bit of a breakdown, just a visual to show you the cost centers by category. And as you can see, facilities is 18.5%, transportation is 5.4%, school administration is 5.2%, system administration is 6.3%, student supports 11.3%, and instruction makes up most of our budget at 53.3%. So this slide again is just a visual to sort of show you in comparison from this school year to last, the 2021-22 year, and reflective of the 2022-23 budget. And this is a slide to show sort of a visual of what the towns need to raise in comparison this year to last year. And that is reflective of student count. So as you can see, in Dallas Plantation, our student count is, there's an additional 2 students there. In Rangeley, 1. In Rangeley Plantation, they are down 4.5 students. And in Sandy River Plantation, you are up by 0.5. So that's sort of how the ED 279 and the state calculate subsidy. Okay, so the main EPS funding formula for year 2022 established a mill rate of 7.10 based on the average state valuation, which basically means for us that we can afford to pay a $7,068,878.34 budget, which is why we are a minimum receiver in state funding. The budget being presented to you is $5,212,960.96. Although our budget shows an overall increase of 3.96, our increase to the towns on average is 1.297 once all subsidy has been applied, which is down 2.53% over last year. Okay, thank you. Are there any questions that I can answer?
How do you get half the students from Sandy River?
I know that it's crazy, but that's how they count. That's how the ED 279 calculates it.
Could be a custody,
Sorry?
joint custody. One
Thank
parent
you.
lives in one town, one lives in the
That
other.
makes sense.
I asked the same question, Linda. I appreciate you asking it.
I know it seems odd, but
It is odd.
That's how it happens.
Joint custody makes sense.
Yeah.
Before we get into the articles, just a couple of housekeeping thoughts here. Unless you want to speak very loudly when you want to speak, would you use that microphone there? Because as you can tell from watching that, unless you're in the right place, you won't hear it. There's some things you may not want to hear, but if you do, please let us hear you when you speak, and if you would let us know who you are and what town or municipality you represent while you're here. The second thing is there anybody here tonight who is not a resident of one of the towns involved in creating this budget and paying for it? We want to give them, see if they want to speak, and if so, we have to give them permission. So not seeing any response, I would think that there are not any, and we can go ahead with the business at hand. Article 1, to see what some the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for regular instruction. The school board recommends $1,889,874.84. What's your pleasure?
Make a motion, we approve $1,889,874.84.
Is there a second to that? A bunch of them. Moved and seconded. Are there any discussion, any questions that you want answered about that figure or what's going on in that department? Not seeing any, I'll propose that we vote then. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the amount as printed in your articles here. When you vote, would you please hold your card really high and be patient. It gets easier every year as there are fewer people to count, but we still need to count them all, make sure we get them. So would all those in favor please hold up your voting cards? $18 in favor. Is anyone opposed to this article? Or anyone wish to abstain? Seeing none, I will declare that this vote has carried and that we will raise that amount of money. Article 2 is to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for special education. The school board recommends $727,909.39.
Make a motion that we go with the school board's recommendation of $727,909.39.
Thank you, Chris. And is there a second? From way down the end there. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we approve this amount as written in Article 2. Does anyone have questions, comments? Seeing none, would all those in favor of the article as moved, please hold your cards high. There are 17 in favor. Is anyone opposed? Anyone wish to abstain? Thank you. We'll move on then to Article 3 to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for career and technical education. The school board recommends $0.
I recommend we pass over Article 3 because the amount is $0.
Been moved to pass over Article 3 as presented. Is there a second to that? Down the line, yes, thank you. Anybody have any questions on that? Like, why is there no cost? Good, you're way out in front of me. Okay, seeing nobody who wants to speak to that, would all those in favor of this article as presented, please hold your orange cards high. Thank you for making it easy to count. Is anyone opposed? Anyone wish to abstain? That motion is carried. Article 4, to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for other instruction. The school board recommends $158,678.45.
Move we expend $158,678.45.
Is there a second to that? Seconds down the line. Does anybody wish to speak to this item? Seeing no volunteers, would all those in favor of this article as presented, please raise your cards up and hold them until the lady says you can put your arm down. Good? They put their arms down? Oh, good. Is anybody opposed? Anybody wish to abstain? That article has passed. Article 5. To see what sums the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for student and staff support. The school board recommends $591,148.94.
I move that we expend 591,148.4.
Is there a second to that? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any commentary? Any questions? Discussion? Seeing none, would all those in favor of the article as presented, please raise your votes. Voting cards. Is anyone opposed? That one is passed. Article 6, to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for system administration. The school board recommends $328,040.69.
I move that we raise for system administration 328,040.6.
And is there a second from below there? You're the official seconder. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions about Article 6? You got the people with the answers if you do. All right, and all those in favor of Article 6 as presented, please hold your voting cards where they can be seen and counted. Is anyone opposed? Okay, so then Article 6 passes unopposed. Article 7, to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for school administration. The school board recommends $273,302.14.
Move that we authorize to expend for school administration 273,302.14.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please hold your cards up. That's it. Thank you. Is there anyone opposed? That article is passed unopposed. Article 8. To see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for transportation and buses. The school board recommends $280,759.03.
I move that we authorize to expend for transportation and buses. The school board recommends $280,759.03.
Thank you very much. Is anyone opposed? Would all those in favor please hold your orange cards up? Thank you. That article is likewise passed. So we're up to Article 9 to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for facilities maintenance. The school board recommends $963,247.48.
I move that we authorize to expend for the facilities maintenance. The school board recommends $963,247.48.
There you go. Yeah, I think we have to wait till we get the first before we can do the second, but I appreciate your willingness to help. Does anybody have any questions about the school board recommendation on Article 9? Would all those in favor please hold your voting cards up? Is anyone opposed? That vote carries unanimously. Article 10 says to see what sum the regional school unit will be authorized to expend for debt service and other commitments. The school board recommends 0.
I move that we pass over Article 10 for debt service and 0 commitments, and Article 11, all other expenditures.
It's been moved and seconded to take numbers 10 and 11 together and vote for them. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor of 10 and 11, yes, please hold your cards up. Thank you. Is anyone opposed? All right, 10 and 11 carried unanimously. Articles 12 through 13 raise funds for the proposed school budget. Article 12 says, to see what sum the regional school unit will appropriate for the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, and to see what sum the regional school unit will raise and assess as each municipality's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, in accordance with Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20-A, Section 15688. The recommended amounts set forth below. Is there a motion on Article 12?
I have a question. So why wasn't pre-K added to that? Why is it kindergarten through 12?
Georgia?
It's because it isn't technically essential.
It's a program.
Yes.
This is a
Yeah, we get a
statute-driven
different
article.
Oh, okay.
This is a required article we have to vote on regardless.
Are there any further questions on Article 12?
I move that we approve it as presented.
Is there a second to that? The ladies down the line. Are there any questions or comments about Article 12 as presented? Seeing none, I'd ask those in favor to hold their orange counting cards, please.
Can you hold them back up again?
Could we hold them back up again, please? Thank you. Is anyone opposed? That Article 12 is passed unanimously. Article 13, on which we will have a written ballot to see what sum the regional school unit will raise and appropriate in additional local funds. Recommend $2,037,373.86, which exceeds the State Essentials Program and Services allocation model by recommended $37,373.86, as required to fund the budget recommended by the school board. The school board recommends $2 million, etc., same figure, which exceeds the state's essential programs and services model by $2,037,373.86. The school board gives the following reasons for exceeding the state's essential programs and services funding model. The state funding model does not address the reasonable costs of rural schools. So we will proceed now to vote on Article 13. you're in favor, please vote yes. If you're opposed, please vote no.
Okay, has everybody voted? Yes, and one no.
Voting on Article 13 is, tell me again?
19 yes and one no.
19 yes and 1 no, so that motion carries. We're on to Article 14, which summarizes the proposed school budget. To see what sum the regional school unit will authorize the school board to expend for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022, and ending June 30, 2023, from the regional school unit's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, non-state funded school construction projects, additional local funds for school purposes under the Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20A, Section 15690, unexpended balances, tuition receipts, state subsidies, and other receipts for support of school. The school board recommends $5,212,960.96. What's your pleasure?
Make a motion, school board's recommendation of $5,212,960.96.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to accept it as presented, Article 14. Are there any questions or comments at this point? As we get ready to spend $5 million. No biggie.
Does this amount include any like subsidies that we'll be receiving? Probably not, so just an expenditure portion of it, or is there going to be budget
We're just talking here about the total budget then, Sheila, not where it comes from. Thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor of Article 14 as presented, would you please raise your orange cards. Is anyone opposed to Article 14 as presented? Article 14 is passed unanimously. Article 15 raises and appropriates funds for the school nutrition program. To see what sum the regional school unit will raise and appropriate for the school nutrition program with authorization to expend any additional incidental or miscellaneous receipts in the interest and for the well-being of the school nutrition program. The school board recommends $60,000 with additional expenditures authorized as provided in this article.
Move to approve $60,000 as recommended by the school board.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the $60,000 sum. Anyone have questions on the school nutrition?
I have a question. Does that supplement the whole program, or are kids still paying for the meal after that?
Good question. So, next year, when we created this budget, we didn't know at that point in time whether students would be charged for their lunches next year or not. We were actually just informed like a week or so ago that there's not going to be any cost to the student. We will be receiving from two revenue sources, the federal revenue source and the state revenues. So the money, the $60,000 is there. It will continue to be there until, the money is needed. But like we said, when we created this budget, we were creating the budget like we were going back to, pre-COVID times.
I'm sure it's hard to foresee all the changes when there's stuff like this in months.
Are there any other questions about this article? If not, I'd ask those in favor, please, to hold high their orange cards. Is anyone opposed? Thank you. That article passes unanimously as well. We're on to Article 16 on top of page 4. To see what sum the regional school unit will raise and appropriate $13,996 for the adult education program.
Right. I move that we raise and appropriate $13,996 even for the adult education program as recommended by the school.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept Article 16 as read. Anyone have questions about this article? Seeing none, I would ask those in favor of the article, please, to hold high your orange cards. Okay, thank you. Anyone opposed? That article is passed unanimously. Article 17, shall the school board be authorized to transfer amounts exceeding 5% of the total appropriation for any cost center to another cost center or among other cost centers for the 2022 and 2023 fiscal year, provided that the transfer shall not be permitted to increase the authorized total school budget.
Move that we accept this article as read. Approved.
Are there any questions about Article 17? Been moved and seconded, so those in favor, would you please hold high your orange card one more time? Thank you. Is anyone opposed to Article 17? Article 17 also passes unanimously. Article 18. In addition to amounts approved in the preceding articles, shall the school board be authorized to expend such other sums as may be received from federal or state grants or programs or other sources during the fiscal year for school and other program purposes, provided that such grants, programs, or other sources do not require the expenditure of other funds not previously appropriated.
Move that we approve this article as read.
Thank you. Been moved and seconded. Any questions about this? Moving of money from cost center to cost center? Seeing none, I'd ask those in favor to hold up their cards, please, the voting cards. We're all set on that. Thank you. Anyone opposed? Article 18 is unanimously approved. Article 19 authorizes the transfer to and expenditure from the Capital Reserve Fund. To see what sum the school board will be authorized to transfer to the Capital Reserve Fund from available fund balances, and to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend from that fund for capital improvements and or expected or emergency maintenance or repairs to regional school unit facilities and equipment, not including the operating budget as school board may deem necessary or advisable. The school board recommends a $100,000 transfer authorization and a $100,000 expenditure authorization.
Move the article as recommended.
Been moved and seconded to accept Article 19 as presented. Are there any questions about this article?
Do we have a number of the available fund balance?
Did you catch that question?
You're talking about the total unfunded balance?
Yeah, like the balances
Or
in the
in the
account.
capital reserve itself?
See, that's what the unfunded, the fund balance was at the end of the fiscal year.
The available fund balance.
Available fund balance.
That you can take out if you needed to.
It would only be an estimate at this point because the year is
It's not
not.
on. Is it like 100,000 or 500,000 or?
It can only be 3% of the whole budget is what the state requires now. So that's why you're doing the transfers instead of like giving it back to the state.
That's not the question.
So it
I don't
will-
know the amount,
So
but
it
I'm
will
guessing
be
it's
on.
100 plus 40 plus 50.
So
No,
it
the
will-
question is what's roughly sitting in our unfunded, we can talk about last year's audited amount, Liz, if that would be helpful.
So it's roughly about no more than 400,000 anyway.
No.
Okay, just out of curiosity. Thank you.
Are there other questions about Article 19, the Capital Reserve Fund?
So Liz, just to answer your question a little bit, what happens as of last year audited, I don't have the exact number on me, I apologize, I don't have it today, but give or take, it's 900 to $1 million we ended up after the years, because each year is a slight increase that happens if people do well with the budgeting. And then we appropriate each year some money for tax benefit, much like the towns do, if there's abundant reserve, and then we put some in the capital. So
This to me sounds like it's a surplus. The available fund balance almost sounds like, is that kind of the same thing as a surplus?
well, basically what,
Like your accounts have balance, maybe they
Right.
were unexpended or something.
yeah, what happens is that, you know, we have to keep, when we started the RSU up, remember we didn't have any money, we actually had to borrow from the municipality to cover the summer salaries and all that there. So as you know, cash flow versus actual there. But when we finish the audit year, we look at the audit budgets and we do finance, and we allocated money this year, a percentage of that, towards the cost. Because as you can see, the costs were roughly 3.96%, but the actual amount that's being charged to the municipalities is only 1.39. So we're reducing some of the fund balance to appropriate to that. Plus, we're also trying to build a capital reserve, because this is the whole thing. If you remember when I got on my soapbox, when we did the tours for the school improvement, people were mad that we're having to spend $3-4 million on the school. And they said, well, in 1974, you put $100,000 away every year, we wouldn't be doing this. So we're trying to put $100 grand away each year to do that. So, good question.
And I was, at the capital reserve, I think that's pretty clear in one area of this budget, but I just wasn't sure about like the other amounts, but it sounds like to me, maybe we'll answer my question. We're capped at how much we can keep in that unfunded balance.
Right.
And that, money is spent at certain levels. If we increase above 3%, then it goes to reduce the tax, liability for taxpayers, reduce the overall budget. In conjunction with any subsidies that's given or that the government gives us.
Yeah, I mean, our budget process, just so you know, we didn't, Georgia didn't cover all that there, but we had this budget built and done before the 1st of March. And that was because Georgia and her team, administration and staff, went through, looked at 5 years back historical, because the past 2 years were wonky because of COVID. There were certain cost centers that were higher, certain cost centers were uncharacteristic lower, especially busing and those type of things. So I went back through and looked at all of that. We're able to come back and be spendthrift about it. We had 2 things that were already set, because we had the administration, the admin's budgets and their wage increases were set. And we also had we were in year 2 of the teacher contract, which had already had, so those were fixed amounts. So really the only other places we could look were in those other areas, cost areas. And the team did a really great job. And we were able to get through the budget in record time. In fact, you can remember historically, we'd spend weeks and weeks and meet every week and go through the budget, and then this hearing would be 2 or 3 hours. But we really worked hard on the transparency and having all that information out on the financial side. So it made it a lot easier. And Sheila and Roxanne did an excellent job of answering, especially all my crazy questions. And we had a really crackerjack team on finance. So Karen and Joanna and Mary. Yes, that's a good question. So, and Sheila can probably get that to you tomorrow what it was on 6/30/21. So, if that's helpful.
It's fine. I was just curious.
Are there any further questions about Article 19, Capital Reserve Fund at this moment? Not seeing any. Would those in favor please hold up your cards for Article 19 as presented? Is anybody opposed to Article 19? All right, that is passed unanimously. We're on to Article 20 to see what sum the school board will be authorized to transfer to the Special Education Reserve Fund from available fund balances, and to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend from the fund for legally required or unexpected emergency special education expenses, not including the operating budget, as the school board may deem necessary or advisable. The school board recommends $40,000 transfer authorization and $40,000 expenditure authorization.
Move that we go with the $40,000 transfer authorization and $40,000 expenditure authorization as recommended by the school.
It's been moved and seconded to accept Article 20 as presented. Are there any questions raised by this that people would like to talk about? Seeing none, I would ask those in favor to hold high your voting cards, please. Is anyone opposed? That motion is passed unanimously. Article 21, to see what sum the school board will be authorized to transfer to the Student Staff Support Reserve Fund from available fund balances, and to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend from that fund for legally required or unexpected emergency student staff support center cost expenditures not included in the operating budget, as the school board may deem necessary or advisable. The school board recommends $50,000 transfer authorization and $50,000 expenditure authorization.
Move that we go with the school board's recommendation of $50,000 transfer authorization and $50,000 expenditure authorization.
Is there a second? Thank you. Anyone have questions on this? Capital reserve, in and outs. Seeing none, with those in favor of Article 21, hold high their orange cards one last time on Article 21. Is anyone opposed to Article 21? That concludes the work on our budget. Thank you for your presence and thank you for your civility. Not many meetings happen that are this cordial, and it is a treat to hear it and see it. So thank you all, and good night.
Thank you.